Indy 149s are the size truck you would use on an 8.5-inch skateboard deck. In this video, I'm going to talk about everything that I left out in my Indy versus Thunder video. It just feels so good to be back on an 8.5-inch board. Indies last the longest because they have the most material on the hanger, but that causes them to not lock in as good at first, but after you really dig in some grooves, they lock in just as good as any other truck. These are the reverse Kingpin Indies, so they have even more Kingpin clearance and they'll last even longer. I never really had a problem with the Kingpin on the normal Indies unless I really grinded them down on the hanger. There was one time I got hung up on the Kingpin on some regular Indy 169s, but the hanger was grinded down almost to the axle. And a lot of people don't have a problem even when they grind all the way to the axle with the Kingpin hanging up. So some people lock in on their 50/50s all the way up on top of the ramp. I never really did that. I feel like I'd get caught up on the top. I usually lock in with Thunders all the way on the heel side edge, kind of all the way leaning into the ramp like this. It's like some people lean too far up and some people lean too far in. Like if you're leaning all the way in like this, that's maybe a little too far in. You kind of got to keep your weight on your heels, grind like that. But I found with new Indies, especially really loose Indies, you have to kind of counterlock your wheels like this. So you're on the toe side edge of your front wheel and the heel side edge of your back wheel. But if you tighten your Indies up a little bit or break them in a little bit, you can actually lock in like you would with Thunders. I feel like with Indies, you need bigger wheels to lock in right. With Thunders, you can kind of lock in and pinch with the tiniest wheel ever. These wheels are pretty tiny, and I can lock in. That's because I tighten the back truck a little bit more, so it feels like it really locks in now. Before I tightened that, I felt like I was getting wheel bite on my 50/50s. If I just skated them as loose as they come, I would have trouble doing 50/50s. So Thunders are better for locking in on 50/50s and crooked grinds, but Indies are better for popping out of crooked grinds. I feel like I get a little more pop. That's just my opinion, but it feels like it has a little spring to it when you try to pop out of grinds. I also think Indies are better for tail slides and nose slides because the base plate actually sticks out a little bit more than it does on Thunders. On Indies, I feel like I'm actually grinding on the base plate instead of having to slide against the wheels. So if you're familiar with this channel, you know I've been skating larger boards with Indy 169s for a while now. I skate 975s, 1075s, stuff like that. I recently bought this 8.5-inch board and I want to try out all the different companies, you know, FA, Frog, Quasi, all these new trendy companies, and I want to try these Indy 149s on them. That's why I bought the Indy 149s, because I want to start skating some regular boards and throw some flip tricks in there. I definitely think the smaller truck is better for flip tricks than the Indy 169. I used to think the opposite of that, but I guess I've gotten weaker because this is much easier to flip around than the larger truck. So I always thought I had more control on the coping with the larger truck, the Indy 169, and I still kind of do because I'm more comfortable with it, but I think if I got really comfortable on the Indy 149s that I would have just as much, if not more control on the coping. I'm excited about making my own personalized grooves in this truck. I'm not going to actually cheat and take a grinder and do it. I'm going to actually grind on ledges and coping, but I'm excited to dig those grooves in there. I like these bushings a lot, but listen to how squeaky they are. I actually really like how soft they are, how they turn, the rebounding, they go back to center really well. I think they feel just as good as Bones bushings. The noise can be really distracting though. I like how loose these trucks feel and how soft the bushings are because they turn really well. Right out of the box, these trucks feel super loose. They turn really well. I did actually get them in a box. Thunders just feel lower. They feel like they don't turn as much. They have more lean and less turn. Even the Thunder highs feel lower than the Indy mids. I'm a little bit better on kick flips and heel flips on Thunders, but I don't pop as much. I get a little more pop on these Indies. I think my kick flips look better, but they're less consistent. That's a good way of thinking of it. I think Thunder makes you more consistent. Thunders are good if you have If you're somebody that skates a really tight truck, Thunders are good. They turn well, but they just don't turn as much. If you're somebody that skates looser trucks, I think Indies would be better. I say that because I get a lot of wheel bite on Thunder, and I haven't had a problem getting wheel bite on Indies. I understand why people will put up with all the crazy stuff that's going on in California just for the weather, because the weather right now is crazy. Earlier this week it was below freezing and snowing, and now it's like 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's so humid it feels like a giant head is just breathing down on me. I feel like it's gonna rain at any moment. It looks like it's gonna rain in every direction. I think humidity is the worst thing for skating because it makes the board feel soft and you just can't pop. It's like you're just so tired when it's really humid. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of content, reviews, tutorials, and videos about what I'm learning as I grow as a skateboarder, then scroll through my channel, check out my other videos, and hit that subscribe button because I got a lot more videos to come. Thanks for watching.